We had the chance today to visit more places in the Galilee, even heading off on a journey into the Upper Galilee. Our first stop, though, kept us near the sea in the ancient city of Magdala. This fascinating archaeological site, the home of Mary Magdalene herself, provided another look into the world of Jesus' time and offered a radiant place for the group to celebrate Mass.
But when we look at Mary Magdalene, we realize in her mission to be an apostle to the apostles that she was fulfilling a function that all of us have, to bear witness to Christ. We also know that church is Holy Mother Church, never Holy Father Church, precisely because, like Mary, each of us, whether we are men or women, have to receive and give birth to Christ within ourselves through the gift of faith, through the grace of God.
With such a famous female hailing from the city, Magdala places a special focus on the women of the gospel, like Salome, Mary and Martha, Joanna, Susanna, and also the courageous woman who reached out to Jesus, desperate to merely touch the tassel on his cloak. All of these women providing an example of faith and holy life for us. We then made our trek into Upper Galilee to hike through the land of what was once part of the northern kingdom of Israel. It was a chance to see more of the beauty of this landscape and also to reflect on the ancient history of this land. So we're here in this really fascinating historical spot. We're in Dan, and I've got Bishop Betancourt with me. We're going to take a look at this, and he's going to share with us, what's going on.
Okay. So we are in the cultic site of Tel Dan, and this has been a worship place for more than 3,500 years. So it's pretty exciting to be here because then you can see, part of the Old Testament coming back to life, especially when Israel fell in idolatry, right? When the kingdom of Solomon split, then King Jeroboam built two sanctuaries, one in Bethel down close to Jerusalem and this one. So people in the northern part of Israel would not go anywhere to near Jerusalem to worship, but stay here. So that metal frame with the four corners, their four horns, that's the altar. That's how big it was. And then, as we see there in the illustration, then that's how a sacrifice, will be offered. The whole complex right now we cannot go in, but it was very well set. To the left we have storage rooms for the priests, like a sacristy. Then we have the treasury of the city, kept there. And then behind the altar there's some steps there. That will be a building right behind the altar where the priests actually will office and will stay there. And then some kind of a library as well. So this was the center of the city. The marketplace will be around, and then the residential area then to our back. So I think it's one of my favorite sites because it's so full of history, especially biblical history of the Old Testament.
finally, we journeyed back toward the Sea of Galilee to Tabgha, where we went inside the Church of the Multiplication, a tranquil place that commemorates the area where Jesus miraculously fed thousands, offering an outpouring of nourishment and abundance, something he continues to do for so many who are in need to this very day. So we've come to another end of our day in our adventures in this great pilgrimage, and I get to come today and have a little chat with Archbishop Leonard Blair, who is really the lead spiritual director here in our pilgrimage. He's the shepherd of our archdiocese and really of our group. So I wanted to chat with you, Archbishop, and just see what you think about this day and about how things have gone so far. So has there been anything that's really struck you, anything that you've really enjoyed, in these last few days?
Well, there's so many things, and of course today I had the privilege of being the principal celebrant and preaching at the Church of St. Mary Magdalene. And, really when you stop and think about it, our Lord obviously transcends any one place, and it's been 2,000 years. But all of this is so evocative, of the gospel, and it makes it very personal, Sometimes we tend to think of Jesus as being so remote in his divinity, but he's true God and true man, and his sacred humanity, when you imagine him walking around here on these streets and engaging with these people, you realize that he also does the same with us. If we have the eyes of faith and the ears to hear that Jesus is speaking to us. So it's really quite, and we've been blessed with such magnificent weather. I don't know if this is good for the planet because it's unseasonably warm, but it's certainly good for our visit. The weather's been perfect.
Good. So in these last few days, up till this point, we've been around Galilee. Before that, we had some other stops, but starting in the next couple days, we're going to be in Jerusalem. Really having a few days to go through all the spots and all the sites and really all the moments that Jesus experienced there. Is there anything in particular that you're looking forward to?
Well, let me just say this, that sometimes we think of Jesus historically in the rocky crags of a kind of desert, around Jerusalem. But as was pointed out to us, for most of his public ministry and most of his life, really, because he grew up here, he lived in a place that looks more like Wisconsin than some desert. The beauty of this lake and the beautiful hills and green all around us, so he had at the end to go to Jerusalem to fulfill his role as Messiah and there to suffer and die and rise from the dead. But I think that going down there will evoke those things for us as well, but it's a very different kind of scene than what you find here.
I think you're absolutely right, and it's one of the beautiful things for us to experience, and hopefully for everyone who's watching, to get that whole picture, to connect with Jesus in those final passion-based moments, but also in his hometown, in something like the scenes that we saw in the beautiful lush scenery that we get to experience today. So I know for you, Archbishop, for myself, for so many of our pilgrims, we've been blessed with kind of this eye-opening experience of getting to know Jesus and his worlds all the more. So thank you so much for being with us and for leading us, and thank you all for watching. Keep praying for us, and we'll keep praying for you as well.